Okay, it is 5 o'clock,
One
May
day-
the,
Hopefully someday we won't have that problem.
5 o'clock, May the 8th, we've taken the roll, we've recorded attendance. If you looked at the agenda, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Hirschman,
Second.
second by Ms. Jones. Any discussion, additions, or anything?
Do you have a spare copy of the agenda?
Yes, sir. Sorry.
That's quite all right. I got here late. Thank you. I have one, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Hirschman's got one now.
Yeah, I already read it, so I'm good.
Okay, all those in favor by aye?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, the next one is public comments, and I'm just gonna sort of step aside as the chairman. I just want to say one thing. The other night during school board, or when the school board presented, Mr. Brown, you handed out a thing with, some salaries on it, okay? I know that probably came from a school board member. Do you know that it had erroneous data on it? Okay. I would check my facts, because whoever, male or female, who gave you that, gave you the wrong stuff. And I'll just leave it there. I just don't want it to become a wedge between them and us. Is that, I just want us to be good on that deal, okay? Next is the approval of the minutes, and that's from the last time. If you've had time to look over them.
Motion to approve, whatever everybody get.
Motion by Mr. Stubblefield,
I'll second that amendment.
second by Ms. Nettles. Anybody need any extra time? All those in favor by aye? Okay. Next one is the budget amendment Mariana's talked about, and it is about rural fire department.
Okay, this is the second one regarding the rural fire departments. Had a long conversation with one of the volunteer fire departments to figure out what had happened. So basically, they didn't spend their 2023 money, and we had to rebudget that, which we did last time. They didn't spend their 2024 money because there wasn't a PO issued, and the prior year PO was in the wrong vendor name. So that didn't get paid, and we need to pay it. And so they can spend their money for this year. So that, they have not spent 23 or 24.
Okay.
So that's what this
And
is.
that happened because we had somebody else taking care of the purchasing,
Right.
sorta, and a little bit on their part.
Part of
too.
it was that the 2024 budget, that out of the rural capital projects, wasn't appropriated. I had to go back and amend the budget.
Okay.
So, anyway, I'll just leave it at that.
And this expenditures for which year?
It's for this year,
Okay,
but, we did the 4-year plan.
yeah, yeah.
And they didn't spend their 23, and spend their 24. They're spending it all in 1 year.
Okay.
Well, that makes the budget up.
Right, I'm with you.
Yeah,
It's gonna be out of whack for a little bit, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we appropriate anyway, right?
Yes, when it was
Yes, yeah.
appropriated,
Right,
they
it just
just did
rolled
not
the,
spend it,
right.
Yeah.
It just rolled the fund balance. They
Right.
didn't spend it.
and now she's got to roll it back.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve it.
Motion by Mr. Hirschman,
I'll second.
and second by Mr. Stubblefield. Any more discussion? All those in favor by aye?
Aye.
Okay. All right, you going to do the preliminary budget?
Okay. So, I didn't bring me a copy, that's okay though. It's all right, that's last year's. Anyway, okay, so what I did was, the 3 major funds are in there. The general fund, rural solid waste, and ambulance. So, if you look at your general fund tab, there's a sheet that says general fund budget. Okay. The first one is all of the revenues like you normally would see in the budget book. And then the second, after page 3, is all of your expenditures like you normally would see. Then if you go to the blue little divider, it says individual departments. That's all the individual departments. There's more detail in there, how many employees they have, their salaries versus their benefits, operating costs, such as that. And it's got every department that has staffing. And then the rural solid waste, which is 116, is it same way. It's got the budget and then the detail behind it, and same with the ambulance.
I think they're they're double punched.
Yes, we had a little copier malfunction with the 3-hole paper.
Okay.
Apparently, when you open the drawer to put more paper in, it turns it around. It was a whole ordeal. Whew. Of course, in the last page, which most of you always flip to first, is the fund balance. Now, remember, this is estimated.
On the blue sheet,
It's right before that blue sheet.
right before the blue sheet.
This makes revenue expenditures.
Yeah, right there. So, and of course, this is as the budget was presented to me. So, and you'll see when you go through there, it's
Got two blue sheets in here. Okay.
So we have a total fund balance right now of $7 million.
estimated as of
Estimated.
next June 30th,
Yeah,
2026.
that's the future June, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Right now, it's this,
2026, so we're gonna draw down.
20, yeah, same as we did last year.
Okay.
Sorry, what is it now?
9,310,000.
Yeah.
But that's a July first.
Well, that'll be June,
That's projected July
June
1st.
30th, 2025,
Okay,
which
okay.
rolls to July 1st, 2025.
How have we
which
done
it-
this year? What did we start with last year?
We started with 9.6.
So we've stayed even, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're down just a little bit,
300,000.
A lot of that is the jail medical. I had that,
of course.
explained, we had that huge
Yeah.
budget amendment for some specialized care of some inmates that really,
Are those people still in our facility? They're still in our facility.
it costs like $500,000.
Yeah. But if they're in our facility, we're responsible.
Yeah. I do want to comment, when you get to mine, I now have purchasing, so mine is going to be higher.
And mine is considerably lower. That's the reason.
Right. So purchasing and then the newspaper requirements for all the bids, which kind of makes it more, which does make it more. And the nonprofits are not included. We always do those last. Neither are the fire departments, to decide what you want, and the rescue squad. No, all the other agencies, that type of things, unless we're required by law, then it's in there.
So the pay raises here, is this the amounts asked for, or not the amounts we
That's,
planned?
everything was requested.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so everything in this budget is what they requested.
yes.
Okay.
From 5 to 12%, right?
Yes. Well, really from 3 to,
3 to 5, 3 to 12.
yes, ma'am.
So if we came back with a flat fee for everybody, could you go back and regenerate these? Okay. We just have to regenerate, well, no.
Kind of, I try not to, for it to be confusing, but.
Take it out and put a new one in.
Yeah.
take one and start talking about it, or?
However you, whatever y'all wanna do.
Cause there's some things that are locked in on price-wise.
Right. You know, communication, utilities, maintenance agreements, obviously those have all seen significant increases. Just like with the jail food, all those types of things.
Can't cook that.
Gasoline so far has stayed steady. But we have, there's been several additional departments added. You'll see the opioid money. We need to spend that, and we've got that designated. So, trying to think. Sales tax is still holding strong.
Good.
Is the purchase of personnel in 119?
Remind me, in the county trustee, the 4 deputies, one of those part-time?
County trustee,
Yeah, there's 4 employees, they're all 4 part-time, full-time?
the trustee, yes.
Okay.
Deeds has a part-time. And property assessor.
Is Rick projecting like the custodians went up almost 34? Does he predict more cost or
Where we at?
this one? Oh, okay. Okay.
And the county clerk put in 0 for her deputies.
Some of them did,
Okay.
they just weren't sure what to do.
Yeah.
We're gonna let the board decide and county will say that.
And circuit court did the same thing.
And then, 20,000 of their money is to go out and do the wayside acre. So that's after hours.
Hey, Mayor, did our county attorney run around 35,000?
He's only gonna use what's appropriated,
Okay.
30.
Okay. I just asked, that's me reading my.
Yeah, he's on track. We still got, stuff to do.
Yeah, I know.
We got 2 months, almost 2 months, but he's on track to finish out what, we budgeted,
Okay.
for 30,000.
So there's the 22,000 for the wastewater.
Yeah, that comes in from the check homeowners pay out.
Yeah, I know we got him busy a little bit right now.
We didn't sign, the rest of
Yep.
it goes to that enterprise fund.
We signed a really good deal with Mark. He did
Yeah.
a good job.
The wastewater thing out there, is that gonna be sustainable at the cost of it?
That one, I don't have any answers for that issue. That is a problem.
Okay.
It's basically mismanaged, one word.
So we need to get somebody to take a hold of it.
Yes,
Go back and, they're gonna have to wear out fees.
yes.
I mean-
See it went around it.
I mean,
No, no,
Mm-mm.
you can't
it's-
have a negative.
No, and it's not fair to ask everybody to keep subsidizing it either.
Well, there's costs that they're not paying for, I can tell you that right now.
There's what now?
There's quite a bit of cost they're not paying for.
Okay. Is there money there to pay it?
not with the fees reduced.
No,
Where's it said?
when they got in there and reduced the fees right
Those
off
on
the
the
bat,
sheets that follow.
that killed,
Oh, does it fall?
stayed
Okay,
balanced,
okay,
Okay.
good.
or close to balanced, let's put it that way.
Right.
Yeah, I should look into that. Number of difference.
Like I said, part of those fees go back to the general fund to pay the maintenance guys.
Yes, oh, yeah,
To reimburse them.
the reimburse Rick.
Yeah.
And the older that gets up there,
It's, 2007, so it's AD.
start on,
Just what I wanna do.
I'm gonna start on page 4 and look and talk.
I'll make
Start with the
notes.
mayor's office.
Be a good spot.
Can I ask one question first?
Mhm.
Under the general funds, is there a place in here that shows what the total budget for general funds was for 25 and what the total for 26 is proposed? If we just accepted everything that was, and
Look at-
is that what I'm looking at here?
Flip that page over, right there,
Right here is what, okay.
looking at the bottom.
Okay. So that's the comparison there to here.
Yeah, and so on those
Okay.
two columns that say 2025, one's where we started, one's where we have amended right now.
Okay.
And that's the projection of where we'd be. It doesn't
And then
mean we'll
that's
end up-
compared to this. And then do we have a number of funds, general funds, that we know what that number is so that we can see if we are
What-
fully funded for this?
What do you mean?
This is, your budget, is that the dollars that we have in the general fund?
The general fund, yes.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
that's not the dollars. The revenue, is on the first
That
3
part,
pages.
Okay, okay.
That's the
And then the very
revenue.
next page, where you're at now,
Mm-hmm,
that shows the change we'd see in the fund balance.
okay.
If
Yeah.
if we approve this, and
Yeah.
everything worked out like it is.
And
Gotcha.
right now, that's it. Everybody spent every penny in their budgets for 2025. I don't like to go through and do that because I don't want to get a false sense we have money and we may have to spend it.
Add to it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, everybody wanna start on like page 4, where the mayor's office is at?
That's actually us.
Yeah, commission's up at the top.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah.
Which it didn't, board and committee fees.
I didn't have time to make another copy.
84, it went up from 2 years ago.
That's because of we're paying the
Mhm.
educational incentive. The $600 for training for commissioners. Yeah, that's new. The education.
You're pretty tight there, Mayor.
And about right there was that was it.
Page 4, starting with you, well,
Like
'cause
I
I-
said, not everybody got it, so I know that.
51,300.
It's the real 14.
So I didn't do estimated yet, because
Increase in,
I think you get too many columns, it gets confusing.
part-time, you came down, are you gonna hire somebody extra to
I
go
was
in
gonna
there
ask you
tomorrow?
that, that was gonna be that.
Yeah,
question.
I'm gonna start a part-time,
Okay,
sort of like we were
Yes.
years ago. Have somebody we can call when Laura's not there. She does a real good
yes, she
job.
does. Okay.
The attorney, of course, which isn't in there, as I said, we're gonna be good. Travel, you know, I reduced that to 1,000. I'm not taking a dime of travel expense. So that will not change, and we did not use it. The, HR, I'm sort of waiting to see what you guys do on an across-the-board raise. And we'll do the same thing for her.
Anybody with questions on page 4, anything? Or cuts?
That's right there.
Okay.
What percentage did you use for projected raise? Any, or you just
I'm
waiting?
not.
Okay, you haven't
The state
projected yet, it'll
mandated
come.
for my position was 3%.
Yes,
And I think that's what a lot of departments are getting, is a 3%.
All the elected officials' salaries are state mandated.
Yep. Judges.
That means we can't cut their.
Yeah.
Even Andy's, salary is
So,
mandated, who's not an elected official.
Right, right.
did he cut his deputy? Okay, I'm on page 5.
It's an off-election year.
page 5.
So last
Okay.
year you had more because of the election, they always have a lot of part-time
Cool.
election year.
And plus, he had somebody retire and he hired somebody at a lower rate of pay.
Okay.
If y'all look at legal services, that's 331 on page 5, we had a lingering, lawsuit regarding a photograph that had been used in the Bonnaroo promotion. Some guy claimed copyright, and it was more frivolous than anything, and our insurance company attorneys handled that. It was, we finally settled with them, but every month we were getting their hourly bill for dealing with it. You know, it would be $800 this month, $2,200 the next month. And that sort of eat up a lot of those legal services. Plus, the codes department had been using somebody besides the county attorney to draw up resolutions, which I've directed them to start using our county attorney. So he's been drawing up our resolutions regarding rezoning or all that stuff.
That's good.
And the planning, my professional planner, we will be using out of consulting somewhat, and this legal services, why we left it at 35. Even though we're not dealing with this frivolous lawsuit, we'll be paying her on an as-needed basis, and we can use that fund.
Andy didn't, he's not asked for a raise for his people, did he?
No.
Waiting on that. Does anybody have anything down to the election commission? And then we start on register of deeds. She did ask for a raise on hers, right?
I think it was 5%.
Okay.
You have to look over.
161 to 174, had to put it in there.
8%.
She had put
Yeah,
I thought it was more than
it was
She tripled her part-time.
I sure did.
Yeah, she only has one part-time.
Okay, 24, she had 8. Okay, she left it alone. 24, all right.
Yeah, but it's just one.
Just one person. Okay. The longevity pay.
How many hours a week is part-time for us?
30,
Less than 30.
less than 30.
Less than 30,
Yeah.
okay. Because that's almost 50, that's probably about 50% right there, so.
The longevity pay on that next page over, is that for one person?
Looks like it.
500.
Which one are we on?
It's on
Donna
186.
Tony's.
Probably.
And the social security, you can't touch that, that's all just mandated to pay. Maintenance agreements, travel.
That's including the 8%.
That's true.
The social security,
Yeah, that's,
so that would drop off, that would drop also. Didn't she have a great big machine she wanted?
That's, we're getting that out of capital project.
Okay, that's right. Maintenance agreements look good. 16, 18, 6,000. The other contracted services, she went up $1,500.
It's what, yeah.
Can't be too tight.
And there's more detail on these individual sheets too.
Anybody, anything else on the register of deeds? The minimum codes, that would be, Kurt, right? As a supervisor.
And they've had they've moved somebody in his department, right?
Right.
Yes,
So,
Larry from
Larry's,
sheriff.
Larry's
Yeah.
gone out, right?
Larry,
Larry is not there
Larry's-
anymore.
Oh, he's
Larry
here.
is there.
He's still there?
We had
Okay,
transferred him from the sheriff's department.
okay.
That's why his number's up, most of it. So,
Right.
Yeah.
All right,
oh, yeah.
that's right.
There's more detail on these, Lynn?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, okay.
When you look at the budget, it's not bad. Anybody see anything that jumps way out on the, codes? Then county buildings on the next page. How are we doing on air conditioners and stuff? I know it comes out of capital.
Well,
We, um,
This-
we took bids, okay? The one that we're looking for is the high bidder, of course, and, we're not completely, the one who's low, we're not, I've gone through every paper he sent. And, from now on, for capital outlay committee, we wanna do, whenever we're talking about large projects, anything that's over, that we can estimate over $150,000 or $200,000, we wanna do performance payment bonds. Because right now, we have nothing, if he goes out there and sticks those units out there and sets them on the ground and walks away from that job, we have nothing to go back on him to finish that job. You understand what I'm saying? And a performance payment bond will cure that. So anytime we get something that's that large, I wanna start
what's the dollar
saying,
amount? 150?
oh, for what we wanna
threshold.
have it on?
For
I think
performance and
I wanna do
payment bonds.
150,000. Yeah, I think if it, cause that's quite a big project, and I don't want somebody to come out there and throw something down
Be gone.
and be gone, and we don't have any repercussions to come back and make them finish it. And it's just smart business. So I want, whenever we advertise for bids, we wanna make sure we ask that in the bids. And I may wanna go back and see what the cost is for adding that into that project. It shouldn't be too much. You get, for $500,000, you get, it costs about $7,000 for $500,000 bond.
It's cheap
Performance.
insurance.
It's cheap insurance, because, yeah, when you're talking about a large project, we don't need to get stuck. I'm just trying to protect the county. But, the bids came in, you remember what it is?
No, I hadn't had a chance
I was just wondering,
It's like 349,000.
It just seems like we just keep-
348,000.
for the, at the jail?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was all over 300.
Yeah.
Where's that? I'm gonna have to look.
it's every one of the air conditioning units on top of the pods.
Okay, but where are we budgeting that? Because I don't recall that being in capital.
We have not.
budget. Okay,
so we gotta find that.
We're gonna find it,
okay.
for sure.
Did they ask for any raises in county?
For Rick,
They got 6% in here right now, looks like.
I've got the bids in there. in the
Sorry, I should have brought it.
purchasing office.
I didn't think I was gonna do it.
Not really the office, but it's in there. Cause I wanted to know if they had done a PO and where the money was coming from.
I'm kinda delayed it a little bit right now. Till we get some more information.
Okay.
But those units are what, 12, 13 years old, 13? Going on 14?
The jail's
2010.
open.
Right now, they're in the air
May.
conditioning unit, the air conditioners are running right now, somewhat. They cannot get parts, is the issue. And so they're Band-Aid together right now. If we go back into heat, we're done.
Yeah, they had a rough winter,
Yeah.
keeping it warm.
Keeping them even on in the wintertime is the killer.
Because they got heat exchangers in
Yep.
them. Okay.
I understand the prisoners will to light some fires in there.
Yeah, they do like fires
Yeah.
to keep warm, but
Yeah.
anyhow.
Okay. Okay, down at the bottom of the page is 51,900 on the general administration. Of course, that's got the data processing.
That's our IT person and our IT department. We share some of those costs.
Pretty flat.
It's not all for her. It's kind of things we end up buying, but battery backups, those types of things. And then there's things we pay for that it's hard to differentiate, like the panic buttons at the Justice Center, to figure out who would you charge them to. So that kind of stuff we put in that 51,900, 334 maintenance agreements. And then on your sheet, it's got the detail
Okay.
of what all's paid out of that one.
I mean, the state of Tennessee doesn't step up and help us
They don't help us at all.
with the courthouses?
No,
Oh, okay.
they tell us what to do.
Oh, I know. Okay, I'm rolling over to page 8. I know the records and archives are nothing.
Yeah, that's our
Yep.
archives lady that's in here on Tuesdays. Some, she needs supplies from time to time.
Counts and budgets, that's you,
That's me. I asked for 3.
3%.
And then on my detail, you can see where I've got, I put a note in there about the purchasing person. And, I had to add to the, other stuff. Maintenance agreements just keep going up. Of course, the mayor's offices use our accounting software, so, but I don't charge the mayor's office for it.
You're so nice.
I know I am, aren't I?
Yeah.
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 Did you get,
Okay, so yours is 52,100 and you asked for a 3% raise.
Yes, that is only my personnel now, and then you add the purchasing person to it.
Yep. Anybody questions on that?
And then, like I
Done.
said, there's all kinds of detail on what the heck
Yep.
is charged on those lines in my office.
Next one down is the property assessor. They did do it.
So this is not a full appraisal year, right?
What was your question?
I said this is not a full appraisal year, right?
No, that's next year,
Next year, right, yeah.
next year, with election year.
Yippee-ki-yay. Okay.
What is that proposed raise? for property?
She's got 5.
She's got
5%.
5 for her personnel, yeah.
Okay,
Like I said, Ms. Jones, Ms. Dow, you can look here too.
oh, okay, there's another sheet. Okay.
Yeah, behind that blue
Okay,
cardboard
behind
is the individual departments, and it gives more detail, because
Okay.
it's kind of hard to put all that in.
In one place.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, now I say thank you.
Mm-hmm. Save you from writing.
Oh, it is, look, I'm writing down everything.
I just noticed.
I want to be thorough.
Oh, I don't blame you. It's a lot of information, I know.
Okay, I'm on page 9, reappraisal program, it stayed the same, or it went down, really. All that was, so then I'm on John at 52,400, and he did ask for 12%.
Yeah, that motor vehicles and property assessor, that comes out of, she has some restricted money.
Okay.
So it's added in
Changing.
all those restricted committed funds at the very end. So that's not costing the general fund.
So I'll just say there on the 12% request from the trustee's office, those deputies make about the same as the deputies in the county clerk's office and over in the circuit court clerk's office, so to me, those ought to be in line.
I think they ought to be, yes.
I think they make
Equal.
more. One of them
And,
does.
and if you drop that, the social security and stuff would go down too. Okay.
I believe one of them makes more than the others,
His maintenance agreements didn't go up much.
which I'm surprised, 'cause mine went up 9%. We have the same vendor.
Okay.
Of course, I had more stuff.
Let me
than
ask
mine.
this,
Yes.
did he spend his maintenance agreements last year? So just for the new members, just something to watch for.
Mm-hmm.
These elected officials have full control over their budget once we give it to them. And we have had officials in the last few years cash out employees at the end of the year after they didn't expend some of their other monies. So watch some of those increases,
And what, like, do bonuses or something?
yeah,
Mhm.
Oh, they do.
because they have the ability to do that.
The
for their-
letter of agreement that I received is supposed to prevent that and have this budget.
This budget cycle, but
Okay.
the previous budget cycles, that's happened, just something to keep in mind and keep an eye on.
Do they sign that every year?
They're supposed
They're
to.
going to now.
Okay.
I mean, let's say just refuse
Ain't they
to.
supposed to every year? No?
Certain offices don't have to, but they generally do,
Yeah, yeah,
because if they don't, there's other consequences, they have to run some of their own stuff down.
yeah.
So-
But I had, some department heads that only have 3 to 5 employees, line item per position, and they're committing to not paying those individuals any more than that letter of agreement. But like the sheriff's department, and let's say the circuit court clerk that's got so many employees, we put a paragraph, or they did at my request, a paragraph agreeing that any unfilled positions, the monies would not be used to bonus the people or positions that were filled.
Yeah.
So the paragraph was in there that they would not do that, and all of them complied.
That's great, I mean,
This
cause
year.
it's just a bad incentive,
It's a
right?
morale breaker, because some departments are just barely getting by
Making by.
paying what they get.
Right.
And then somebody quits and they don't hire somebody back, and then they pay the people that are still there. It's just, it really kills morale.
Yeah. 'Cause I'll have unspent money in my budget from this year, not because of
Thank you for that
next year.
information, Elaine.
Yes.
I would not have known.
I was hesitant
otherwise.
about the,
I found
what
out
I
the hard
put
way.
the
That's
interest
what we
rate
got.
at 5. So I started like 2,000, I didn't,
It was an unpleasant conversation.
you know, I kind of saved it in case somebody retired or whatever, I could pay out
Right.
vacation.
Next one's Jeannie. Did she ask for? She put hers in there, I think.
It's still 24. Did you already go through county clerk?
6,500?
You're on the circuit court.
The circuit court clerk, sorry.
Page 10.
Mm-hmm.
She just didn't put anything in yet.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll read it.
Yeah, it'd be easier to follow it this way, like this.
So they didn't, just didn't put anything in yet, so I'll be waiting to see what,
to hear.
yeah. I get it. We're on.
So she's,
We're on circuit, page 10.
County clerk?
Yeah.
She is, I think she's waiting,
circuit clerk,
I think they're waiting for.
us.
Waiting.
Yeah.
Yes. There's several that just didn't.
That's commendable.
Mm-hmm. She didn't, in fact, if she sticks to her budget, she's gonna go down. Okay,
She's had a hard time with positions. She's somebody who just retired, that's been there a long
Okay.
time.
You talking about the circuit court clerk?
Yes,
mm-hmm.
she's not fully staffed.
It amazes me that the work that the people do
Oh, I
when
know.
they're short-staffed, it's very commendable. And the people of the county really ought to know it. All right, circuit court clerk, the 53,100. Now that's a percentage on it, isn't it?
Not, and they did, they did.
53, the circuit court clerk for her deputies.
No,
No, she
No,
didn't put
she
anything in
didn't.
yet.
Okay,
didn't put it in there.
sorry.
No, that's in here.
No, they hadn't.
She's good.
And learning how to read this thing is another issue, okay? That you're gonna have an issue with.
Right, that's why I tried to did this.
Okay, ask
You'll
her.
have to excuse me. It's
Yeah.
okay.
So the front up here is kind of the,
It's the budget.
Summary, yeah.
summary for what they actually are saying back here in these. That's why I've got doing this.
That's really, the
okay?
front is really, that's the budget. This is all the,
That's it.
this is
back
all the
end.
extra material.
Yeah.
So you can pick this up and look at this
It-
for
it-
each department.
Thank you all for being patient with me.
No, it's okay. That's why we do this.
I thought I'd throw that at you.
This is year 6 for me, or 7,
You're so
and I'm still
Learning.
struggling. Plus Mariana keeps making it better, so I have to relearn it, so.
This is my 20th budget. I wanted to say that.
Good grief.
You're good at it.
Well, happy 20th anniversary.
Thank you. Can I leave?
No,
No, you can't after you explain it all.
Absolutely not.
Ooh, excuse me.
We were skeptical hiring a high school kid to do this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they would probably,
rob the cradle.
it'd probably be a really nice worksheet. But I don't know if you can understand the information.
On the judge's sheet, you might
Yep.
just explain to everyone how that one works.
Good old state of Tennessee.
Well, yeah, you wanna be on,
53,310, the next one after the
Yeah.
circuit court.
Did you want me to?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay, on the judges, they get, their salary increases are based on the 2-year average of the CPI. And so, it depends. I don't think it wasn't much this year, but it was 2.9. You can look on that detail.
But the state basically specifies there.
Yep.
And then they have 2 part-time judicial assistants. One helps Judge Perry and one helps Judge Ewell. So, that's how that works.
The assistants.
Yes, the
Okay.
part-time judicial assistants.
That was a 2.9% increase too.
Mhm.
Okay.
A little less than 3.
There's a thing in there about court ordered mental health evaluations, that's not for the judges, right?
Well,
I've heard that
no.
explained- I've heard that explained before, but it looks funny when you read through the budget sheet. Judges, mental health
Yeah.
evaluation.
Yeah,
Probably need one after they do what they do.
yeah, when they send them
They
moccasin
take off
bin.
on
it
vacation.
costs them.
They're required to order them occasionally, is that correct?
In therapy session.
And then when they send them the moccasin bin, and we have to pay for some of that.
All right, the next one's the recovery court.
Okay, so this one, we have a grant from the state for $100,000. The balance of that comes from the opioid money, the past remediation, not the state abatement fund. It's two separate pools of money. So that's what that is.
So that's what their grant monies, yeah.
Grant and that opioid
Yeah.
past remediation, whatever's over the 100.
All right, and if the grant runs out, we drop the program? Or is it mandated?
Oh,
Okay, well, I'm just,
No,
I mean,
yeah.
you can,
I
yeah.
think it was talked about that when he came and presented it, he said, you know,
Yeah.
he understood that if it went away.
went out,
that-
went away, okay.
When Judge Perry came down.
Let's see, well, this one, Judge,
Perry,
the other one,
Judge Jewell,
Carter.
Carter,
Carter's
Yeah.
this one.
yeah.
It's confusing, the recovery
Yeah.
court. I mean, family treatment court
Family treatment
is
court.
Greg Perry.
Right, that's right.
That's on down there.
Yeah.
That's the one that's like 333,000 a year.
Okay,
And she didn't ask for any increase. She
Not yet.
kind of,
mm-hmm. All right, everybody good with the drug recovery? Okay, the next one's 53,400, and that's Chancery Court.
Yeah, it don't look like she's asked for anything right now.
Now, her travel is higher because she's president of, I think, COAT, one of those associations, and she has to travel.
Okay,
But, you know, she doesn't, she went ahead and put it in there, but most of the time she doesn't turn anything in unless she has to stay overnight. She doesn't really want to do that. But if you're going to something in Johnson City.
mhm, yeah, you need to spend the night.
Yeah.
You wanna drive 6.5 and 6.5. And she didn't ask for, nope.
It's getting hot in here.
Like
Air
train.
shuts off at 4 o'clock.
Train,
So are we stable now with the judicial commissioners?
Well, I have to personally monitor them every day. We're good, yes.
But we had a dispute with them in the past or something, right?
Yeah, we're good. We have 4 full-time and 2 part-time.
Yeah.
okay.
Yes. Oh, I guess I put that in there. Yep, 4 and 4. 4 and 2. Excuse me.
Okay. Are we down to the public defender, which is up
Okay,
underneath there?
that's an issue.
The public defender's an issue?
I'm sorry, where are we at?
I'm not, we're not in there because I don't have a budget for 2026 from them.
Okay, no budget.
From
Because,
public defender?
no, I put in there whatever this year's was, but in my spare time, I have to call somebody that works in Knoxville. They got some of the opioid money, and the abatement, you know, they split it up. But public defender is telling me that they're supposed to hire employees, but he's not sure how it works. So,
Has he not come over and talked to you about that?
yeah, but I don't have time to call somebody in Knoxville
I mean, I
or
thought he was gonna come
Nashville.
over and.
He did, I explained to him
Oh,
what I needed, but
He ain't gotten it to you.
How do we get billed for that?
He wants me to call and get
Oh.
it.
That's what
Okay.
he, I guess.
How do we get billed for that? Is it like that office sends you a invoice every once in a while, or how's that work?
Well, from what I understand, the opioid money that the public defender was allocated is for personnel.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know where I'm supposed to put that, because the opioid money that the abatement, committee did, I put all that in that 55-170 alcohol and
Okay,
drug
so we already have the
programs.
money for it, we just don't know if it
Right.
approves.
I don't know
now.
if it's a payroll, or they're gonna be a county employee,
Yeah,
then, you know, there's costs with that. And so,
And the other people who got the money, you just wrote them out the check and they get that. And his is because it's an employee. There's-
well, I went ahead and put all the money that was allocated for this year to show we had spent it, or allocated it, because, you know, you have to show the state what you're doing. So I just put it all in the 55-170, but what the public defender's telling me, that he's gonna have payroll. So that's not a contribution or contract labor, that's another employee. So I haven't had time to call this person
So
in
is like
Knoxville.
Is the public defender office gonna pay them and then you have to pay them back? Is that what that is?
Well, I'll just allocate the money from the opioid
Right.
money.
but they'd be a county employee, I think is what she said.
Yes, so,
So that'll be a recurring expense.
For now.
because the Tennessee District Conference, this person I'm supposed to call, they're wanting us to do it. Which, I don't know, it's kind of very confusing. So I just went ahead and, you know, put all the money in the 51-55, and you'll see that it's in here, the 55-170.
I guess part of my comment about that would be if the vendor's telling you to make calls, if it's his assistant and he wants one, he ought to help you track that down.
Yeah,
We could just say we're not doing it.
yeah,
Couldn't we?
it's just
I know, I'm just saying.
I mean, I'd be happy to write him a check
Yeah. just-
out of contributions.
However he
Yeah,
wants to
yeah.
do it, but
That's
he
fine.
needs to help you figure that out if he wants the
Right.
assistant, in my opinion. Unless there's some law says he doesn't have to.
So I don't have
I would
time
think
for
he would
that.
come to us if he wanted, like you said, if I want help, I'm gonna be in the middle of it helping you to find it.
Yeah.
Well, apparently they presented at the opioid abatement
Mhm.
committee, the one for the county. But,
Which is fine, I mean, it's a fine use of the money.
sure,
Help us figure
sure.
it out.
Yeah, or how you wanna do it, yeah.
But if you're adding an employee,
Well, he should know who to call.
he gave
Not
me
you.
the information. I got it.
No, I'm saying he should know who to call, and he should call, not you. It shouldn't be dumped in your lap.
Thank you. Yes, I'll call him.
Okay. Judicial commissioners? They have no raise,
Everything's the
stayed
same.
flat,
Everything's the
everything. Pretty close.
Remind me, who hires them?
Mayor.
same. The mayor.
The mayor does, okay.
But I think,
Yeah, no, I couldn't remember, I knew it was some special arrangement there, but,
weren't we looking at
That's been discussed.
a supervisor for
yeah,
them?
that's what I thought.
I thought so.
Right.
We haven't addressed that, but I think there's a person, judicial commissioner, Walker.
Capable of it, yeah.
Yeah, he's just assumed that, I think, he's assumed the position.
Right,
He's a spokesman for him anyway.
right. But if he takes on that role, will he be needing more?
We haven't established that position by
Right.
resolution, so.
We do pay him a little more because he turns in the timesheets, and that, we do pay him more than the other
Okay,
three.
yeah.
Right now,
He's taking the
Okay.
responsibility of doing
Yeah.
that. Okay. All right, I'm at 53-910 on probation.
Did you do the?
No, I did the family-
53,900?
Hang on, get back up.
900.
The 53-900, the other, yeah.
Family treatment court,
That's,
Right.
yeah,
is
That's,
that all family treatment court pretty much?
yes, all of it is.
Okay.
and there is no increase.
No, it actually went down because we bought the computer equipment, laptop
Okay.
this year.
Yeah, 8.3%.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, then 53,910 probation.
If you look at that and divide by 6, it's on the par now of, you know, what clerks and stuff like that.
He asked for an 8.3 for his officers,
She,
You did.
Yeah.
is that right?
You looking at probation?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, 8.3.
8.3.
she has a story to tell on that one, I think it's worth listening to. So, it may not be, that may be a bit much, but.
Yep.
I wouldn't do the job they do for that pay, I know that.
No, that's like some of the SROs where they have to go.
Yeah.
Or my bus drivers have to go. Okay. Next one over is Sheriff's Department. The big one.
Oh, I know that one's.
He asked for a 2.6.
Yes.
Okay. Tight.
That's kind of how, when we discuss it back and forth, what we kind of figure.
Talk to the sheriff, he'll tell you he understands he's the biggest nail.
He is,
Yeah.
yeah. And the deputies stayed pretty stable. And his,
He's done a good job with them.
and of course, the salary supplements, the reason why it's less next year is because they paid us twice. They gave us 2 different funding. We paid them earlier in the year, and then he gave us another 30-something thousand, which,
Is that the Bonnaroo thing?
no, this is their training, their 40-hour
Oh,
training
yeah,
they do.
yeah.
We usually just get one supplement, and this year they funded 2.
And that's one thing, he's gonna put people inside Bonnaroo this year. Is that us having to do that?
I think he's probably has reached out to Bonnaroo or vice
They
versa.
have paid for it in the past. There
Dude,
was,
yeah,
there was some technicality issue last year with how they
Okay.
couldn't accept it, and he can explain all that to you. Him or Frank, either
I
one.
need to make me a note.
I would like to have them out there, because the more coverage we have, the less liability the county has. And I think it's good, I've been out there a long time, but I think it's good to see Coffee County deputies on the farm. Okay. And his biggest thing's gonna be the care of the inmates.
That's under jail.
Yeah. Anything on the sheriff, anybody? Jump over to the jail, which is 54,210, and it's gonna be,
I hate to say it, but that's one of those, it's anybody's guess on the food and the.
well, it just depends on who our clientele are
and
at
the
any given
medical.
day.
Yeah, it's,
I know the public gets upset about it, because you see it, and read it, but that's who we have to
we're
take care
required
of.
by law to have a
Yes,
jail.
yes, and we're
So-
required by law to take care of them once they become an inmate. It really didn't go up
Is his
much.
longevity pay out of the sheriff's department gonna stay the same as last year?
I put everything in that's the same,
Okay.
just so it'd already be in
All
there,
right.
unless somebody asked me to increase it for
They
some
get so
reason.
much turnover on the
I
jail.
figured
side,
that's
they
easy,
probably
to go
don't
back and add it,
Probably have a whole lot,
take it out.
At least not yet.
not many, 15, 20 years, people.
Wonder how that 106 deputies on the jail went down.
Which one?
first one, the jail deputies, probably because the experience left and you got younger.
Still got 11.
Hold on a minute.
11 this cycle, 11 next cycle projected.
Well, last year started out at 377 and jumped up, so had the
Yeah.
increase in mid-year. I don't remember what that was.
Oh, it did, I'm just looking at the,
If I'm looking at that previous page.
Yeah.
2025 original budget 377,
270.
amended budget 424. I don't know.
Okay.
You got 11
Sorry, I was
employees.
looking for something
they
else.
could do the
We're on the
same
jail
thing.
deputy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go up.
Okay.
Right, there's the jail.
54.
Okay, the jail, you know, I had to do a budget amendment to move things around because on the deputies, the correction officers, okay, the deputies, we budgeted for 11, they have 9 currently.
Yeah.
So I had to move money around to,
They have to budget for 11, don't they?
I guess it was the other way around. Well, that's what he does, because that was more. Oh, I know what it is. Originally it was going to be 9, but he actually hired 11, so I had to increase that line to
Okay.
106. And then on the guards, you know, I had to lower that one because I needed the money down in the jail medical, the 340. Because you see that went from 385 to 890. So I did a transfer on one of those amendments last time, I think. And then their food went up. Where's the food?
Because they got a lot more
Where's the
clients.
Yes.
Oh, never mind.
I had to increase it 120,000 this current year.
Well, you think if you have 40 extra clientele every day for 365 days, that starts accruing really quick.
Yep.
Money-wise. Okay. Anybody on the sheriff of the jail?
What is that 399 other contracted services, is that?
That's the jail, doctor.
Inmate medical physician
Gotcha.
service.
Okay.
Which, that got contracted out a few years back, and that's actually saved us some
Some
money.
money.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
he does a great job.
Because when Robert was here, it was, when we were doing all that on
Yeah.
quilting.
The statement.
Okay,
So,
I thought I had my ringer off, I apologize.
good.
Just flip it over.
Like here we used to have a cuss jar, and then we have a phone ring jar.
Yeah.
Thought I had all that turned off.
At least you're not in church.
Yeah.
And they got me in Sunday at church.
I never carry mine in.
I had mine through my office, still a message.
That's why I leave mine in the truck. God knows you're in there with it, he's gonna do something for
on the
you.
juvenile services, the director, does she get that 3%
On which one?
on the
I
juvenile
don't think she's a,
services?
Oh, I haven't caught up with you right there.
You know, what
Yeah.
the supervisor, or department head,
I don't think so. I don't think on that one.
she's not gonna get that.
She's not like an elected official.
Oh, okay.
We'll have to choose that.
I see.
So she's one, some of these directors like that, they don't like to list their own raise, so they just leave it up to us, so leave it to 0.
Where you at?
Youth
I was on
services.
Oh,
juvenile services.
and she had, they wrote down, she has 4 points for her officers,
4.7 for her.
for her officers.
It's because she hired a new one.
Did she hire one? I know last time she was having a problem finding one.
Civil defense is EMA, right?
Yes, I have to use civil defense,
Wow,
not EMA Homeland Security, because that's
by
what
law?
chart
wow.
of accounts
Okay.
state gives me, I have to use that.
So you have to
By
use it.
comptroller's office, so,
Cannot deviate.
Interesting, 10%.
at 327.
What's the, second part-time personnel they want to add? Or do you know?
Part-time?
Yeah, it shows one, oh, never mind, I'm looking at it, there's two last year.
10%.
Two, but it's just, it's more part-time hours than stepped up, 25.
The rescue squad, the contributions, is that the county donating to them, the 54,420? Okay. Are we, that's open, that's the,
Yeah, we
yeah,
have,
open for discussion,
right,
okay.
we should do like a separate little spreadsheet for what y'all wanna do with that.
Okay.
So 911's asking for a bump. So, on the 911, so again, this is a weird one, because they've got their own fund, but at least we're actually getting a budget out of it now, I assume.
I did get a budget.
Huh?
I did get a budget.
Yeah, for the first time
I
in
got the,
how many years? So our budget is for just some of their personnel, They've got a separate budget that includes all of their equipment and everything, and they've got a fund balance at some time. And in the past, we've kind of argued about whether some of they should support more of their own
Yeah.
personnel versus what we're paying, so.
That comes off the telephone fees, is that correct?
That's
They
some of
cover-
it, yeah, they got other stuff, I think, too,
Okay.
yeah.
they get grants from the state that goes directly to them.
We do it, other counties do it different than us, I'll just say that, and I don't understand all of it. Tim understands all that.
Stubblefield, you understand all that?
Oh, I'm getting there. No.
Crazy.
I think what we're gonna do, we'll discuss this as a board, but whatever we come up with, you know, whether it's 3, 5, or 6, or 7% raise, we give all our employees, we're gonna add that to what we normally send in for employees. Does that make,
Yeah.
You gonna do the total budget? Because, you
Like-
know, medical and all that.
Goes up.
You're gonna do like the original versus proposed?
so if we agreed tonight on 5% raise,
Okay.
we would do 5%, we would, our contribution would go up 5%.
But
Well,
shouldn't it go up more
the-
than that?
The what?
She goes, shouldn't it go up more than that?
Why?
Yeah.
Which line are you talking? 5% of
I'm
what
talking about
you're?
the salary.
salary
The
line.
salary line.
Okay, but with salaries, you're gonna have social security,
Well,
retirement.
it hasn't been going up at all. We've just spent every 4 or 5 years.
I just
giving
wanna
you
make sure
money.
I'm clear, so I don't,
Yeah.
Right.
so when I put that in the budget, I'm not confused.
Instead of just trying
I would
to,
add the benefits too, I guess.
well, I gotta get the specifics on that, but the board just agreed to do stuff, to do that.
I mean, that's great, I just wanna make sure I don't
Right.
more in as revenue on the other side than I need to, that's all I'm saying.
And I suggest if you want a more detailed, I guess, description than what I'm giving you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Call Sam, he can tell you what we,
No, we already talked to Sam.
you wanna do that? Okay, well, don't call Sam.
I did talk to him, but
Yeah.
he kind of went away when I said, wait a minute, we're talking about benefits too?
Yeah.
And
Well, that's what we're proposing. I think that's what's gonna
So
happen.
what have we done in the past with the benefits?
we haven't done anything.
Okay,
We,
What do you mean the benefit? The money we give?
yeah.
It goes to,
220,000
Goes to
what
salaries.
we've received the last couple of years.
Yeah,
And then they get a training, they do their 40-hour training like the sheriff's department and EMS gets that now. They pay us back for
I
that.
forgot about that. So just so everybody understands, so they actually write us a check. And then we handle all their payroll and benefits management for them. And then we turn around and give some of that money. There's like an interchange there, but, so it's not it's not like this is only what they're getting, right? But, is that right?
Right.
But they give us enough, so ideally, they give us more, right? And we give them less, or however that works out.
Because
But
they have their own
they get their own funding source. They got their own budget, actually.
we got our own budget and our own funding source.
So this is a line, a few lines out of their budget. For
Right.
us, it's a dollar request. So it's confusing, that's why.
And basically, it's just requesting the salary part of it.
Yeah.
Everything else is handled by 911. I mean,
Okay.
what we're requesting, I guess, is basically just a salary end of it. Is that correct?
Right.
For the
Mariana?
employees, for all the employees, including Sam.
Right, for the employees.
Yeah, we budget
And their
$1,485,647. They give us a check for $220,000.
Right,
So whatever,
We're kinda subsidizing the difference.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
right.
And then that salary supplements,
I mean, doing that to be county employees, I mean,
140, that's, they pay us back for
But in
that.
theory, if they had enough
140.
money, they could send us all on, and we could just do the employees for,
it'd be their own, it's an entity now, but it'd be totally its own entity if it did, yeah.
well, no, I mean, we could, if they could write us a big enough check, we could provide them as county employees without it costing the county.
Yeah, and money.
Right,
But we're not there.
and that's where we're trying to get to that.
I appreciate it.
So,
Yes.
making an effort, I mean,
Cause you're paying for it through, like say, through your phone bill every month, so.
Oh, yeah.
every time you use your cell phone, we appreciate it. Every time you pay your bill, we appreciate it.
I appreciate more than
Good.
the county general
Because
fund.
they do
though.
a good job.
Yeah,
I mean, they really do. When Mom was alive, they were very, very good. Then the next one's the health center, the 55-110.
So on the health center,
Is that gonna go up?
I was gonna say, are they doing the same, when's the new health center opening?
A year
Lord,
from now.
yeah.
So it's not this coming FY. So there's basically not expected to be any change in their staffing this year.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
Staffing's been like a big issue for them over the last few years, so.
But the next year, they're looking
Some
to
will have.
go up.
And we'll get some of that back from the state.
Okay.
They reimburse us all but about 15% of the cost.
Health department.
The health fund,
Okay.
the state does.
Okay, next one's the animal control.
Just looking for a little more overtime pay, looks like.
He, did he ask capital outlay for a car, a truck?
Yes.
Yes,
I don't know if he asked capital outlay, but he did.
yes, budget
Mention.
and finance.
Okay.
I have to
He
get with
did us,
Rick.
didn't he? Man.
Yeah,
Rick and I have to get together, and
Yeah.
then the other stuff that Rick doesn't know about, we'll get it all together.
Okay.
And then capital outlay can have one big
Okay.
thing.
All right. I just know one of his trucks had way over 200,000. And it will be nice when that animal shelter is finished,
Lord,
because what
yes.
he's working with,
Have anybody been over there and seen that little
The
bitty?
bulldozers and excavators have moved in.
Oh,
so-
my goodness.
Can I ask a question about that? This is
Yeah.
more of an operational question, especially for the mayor. So what's the relationship gonna be in the future then between Manchester Animal Control and the county, if any? I can't remember.
None.
Okay, that's what I thought. We've got people in Tullahoma. We'll just let the county handle our animal control.
Well, they kind of do, they go all over the place.
Well,
they-
first of all, I don't know if we can, the city of Tullahoma can force the county to do that. I don't know what the rules are on that. But we can talk about it more later,
To
but,
combine,
no, they just leave
No, he
it
just
there.
wants to shut theirs down, is that what you're saying?
or turn it over to the county. And I told them, I was like, the county might have something to say about that.
PCA requires municipalities to have.
That's what I
animal
thought.
control.
And we have
But
people
do
that
they-
are confused about that.
counties do not, so we really don't have to have.
We don't
That's,
have-
that's what I told them, and they thought it was the other way around, and,
Yeah.
but
Right.
we've got the no-kill shelter, and it's becoming an expense that's beyond reasonable. So,
Yeah.
anyway,
How many
I've-
officers do y'all have in
I think
Tullahoma?
3,
Three?
I think.
I think what we've always heard, if we opted out and didn't do it, it would throw a big load on the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
Cause they would start receiving all the calls, and they would almost have to respond, so I
Yeah.
think that's.
Is it safe to carry the message back that the county would not gladly take over our dog?
That would be a safe
That's all,
assumption.
that's all I
That
wanted
would
to hear.
be
Now, I
safe,
can
yeah.
say that I asked him something.
Yeah.
I was pretty certain what the answer to
And
that
they
was.
watch the video.
We would ascertain a monthly fee,
Of
and
$1 million.
Well,
A
maybe
month.
it's getting- Oh, a month, yeah,
Monthly
we're not
fee.
spending that.
I'll tell you
We,
later.
we can
Family,
do
what they'll
that.
tell you.
We can fix y'all right up.
I know.
Just sign on the dotted line, $1 million a month.
It's
Okay.
in the contract.
Next one, I'm two. Of course, the senior citizens is just us contributing. The countywide waste disposal program, is that the recycling and stuff?
That's
Okay.
everything that's
That-
countywide.
Okay,
It's-
Brandy
Did we do
does.
library?
We do a
You
calculation.
jumped
at
over
your
library,
end.
yeah.
You used to
No,
do that.
I hadn't jumped over libraries yet, it's below this.
Oh, it's below that?
I'm
Okay.
asking about 55,759.
Okay, missed it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Actually write a check for the difference, and it goes back in rural solid waste.
Okay.
I'm
They-
amazed
It's
I'm-
easier for them to pay the cost.
Okay.
than
It
they
wouldn't,
settle up at the end.
it wasn't in this
It's not in
detail,
the set,
detail
right side,
sheet.
okay, yeah, that's all right.
Okay,
Yeah, I get
now we're to the libraries. How about that, 56,500?
So what was it, 55,759, what's that now?
The 55,759, the other waste disposals, and it's,
That's- Yeah,
I'm brain dead.
that's the countywide, like the recycling, the tires,
Yes.
that Rennie Bell's department handles. But that's, since it's a countywide, at the end of the year, we do,
It goes
we
back to
get
real
back to
solid
real
waste.
costs, and we write
To real
check
solid waste.
back to real solid waste.
I'm with you now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Libraries are good, we're asking for 5.
Library
Do
shit.
they have 10, they have 10 part-time people?
They have a lot of part-time people,
Yeah.
the clerks and stuff, they come in and work.
Well, you got high school, college kids too, but I would say
she
that's
said
summer
retired
part-time.
people, too.
Yeah, and
Yep.
retired people, but,
And the part-time, she said she wasn't asking for a raise for them.
And then
Okay.
she's got 7 full-time librarians, and then
You're on Manchester.
you talking about the
You're
college,
talking about
the
Tullahoma?
the summer kids?
there's Manchester.
And then the one in Tullahoma did ask for a
They
raise.
did the same thing, they did ask for 5.
Then I went to the Tullahoma Library. They're 5%.
Just like mentioned.
Yeah.
So you know they have maintenance and effort. Whatever you give them this year, you
Yep,
gotta
you
give.
gotta give them from now on.
Yeah, whatever you give, you gotta keep on giving.
Can't get out of that.
You know,
The agriculture extension service, is any of that reimbursed by the state?
no.
So, but why is it the extension service, is that extension UT?
Mm-hmm.
Do they provide anything? That's strange.
Yeah, it is.
They pay part of their salary, don't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
I think we provide 40% of the salary.
Okay, I was about to say, I thought surely they did something.
Yeah, and they park,
Otherwise, we're gonna take their name off of
Yeah.
it, if we're probably in Coffee County.
I guess I was looking at it a different way.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Instead of UT extension, it'd be Coffee County extension, if we're paying 100%.
And then, of course, the contracted private agencies, that's through South Central. They have like a 5-county deal where they pick up the dead animals, the large,
Yeah.
for us.
and that is a deal.
Yeah. It is the deal.
It is.
If you have to do it, it's a deal for anybody.
Well, it's, you don't want dead cows and stuff,
Yeah.
No.
It's worth what we pay.
so.
Yeah, I did include what all that is for on the extension. In the detail, if you look, Lynn, I did include all that.
Yeah, I saw that, I
Okay.
told you about the past.
And she had Farm City Day last Saturday. She started that back up, and that was wonderful.
In conjunction with Bob and Carol Williams,
Yes,
they contribute.
Yeah.
Did they have a good
They're
turnout?
big deal.
yeah.
Good.
I was up underneath the hay bind. Okay,
The hay what?
a hay bind.
Oh, I thought you said the hay vine. I was like,
No.
what is that?
The soil conservationist. 7.6.
Why is that on there?
anything that's spent out of their committed funds, you wanna keep it out of maintenance and record.
So they did ask for a
Took it
raise,
in, but
raise for
Yeah,
their,
that these last
Seven
couple
point
ain't really
six.
nothing.
okay.
I'd rather look at this end down here and break it down to the same sheet as up front, almost.
Is that the industrial development, that's just our contribution to them,
That's their whole budget.
okay?
Yeah.
So why is,
So Amy just got hired as the executive director.
so that's why
at a
the difference.
different pay scale.
Okay, that's what the difference is, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And I think they're giving her some incentives to go get some additional training.
Thank you. Didn't come up to that point, okay. Sounds good.
And then under the veteran services,
Our one part-time officer.
they still drive them around like they used to.
No debt
No,
service.
they haven't been doing that. Mm-mm.
Nope.
I put money in there, but.
where's
they never-
veteran services?
It's,
Page 22,
58,
58,300.
300.
page 22.
It's almost at the end.
Right before your blue page. And it stayed right on it.
So we have a lot of people with zeros and all that. We're showing 2 million deficit, so is that, where's the difference there? Is it, just us being conservative with our revenue side, or?
You're being chinky on the revenue side.
Well, you know, you have to
Mhm.
be.
Oh, I know.
It's usually,
I would rather be that than wide open.
Mary Ann,
But we haven't
58,300, is that veteran services
Mhm.
clerical personnel?
That's Don Perrington.
That is Don's, that's what he gets?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then it'll come down to deciding if you wanna give to the, all these
Charities.
charities.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't last year, the charities didn't show up or ask, we didn't give them anything, right?
we had a couple that didn't do that, didn't show, and we did that.
Yeah. What-
They were smaller ones.
Yeah, we don't always have them all come,
Mhm.
because sometimes it's the same ones, unless y'all just want to. I have all the information that they
Send
gave
to
me.
us.
Mhm.
Okay.
yes,
Pass the basket, please.
yes.
Keep passing. So I'm just gonna throw something out there. We really need to work on the library in Tullahoma. We've got these air conditioners coming. Where are we gonna get all this money from? The fund. I say we do 5% across the board. We've gotta take care of the county too.
So we're not gonna have to come up with a percentage tonight, right?
No, this,
Okay, so I'll make a request. And, could we see figures on 3%, 5%, and 7%?
That'll give us a good feel.
That gives a good feel, that's right. And,
Repeat that, I didn't hear you.
3, 5, and 7.
He said, let's see estimates for total, for the pay raise values, 3, 5, and 7.
yeah, that gives a good idea.
But I assume we're gonna pay for the library repairs and things like that out of a capital fund. It's just a matter of, have we,
Well, I'm telling you folks, we're not gonna keep throwing $100 and something thousand dollars a
Not
year
that roof.
on that building.
no, we shouldn't.
I want it to get fixed.
I agree.
And fixed correctly.
Tell Homer we appreciate
And
it.
we've already, every time it rains or has a flood, they're losing
Yeah.
equipment,
Books and everything else.
flooring, and it's on, and it's every time.
Yeah.
And it's been that way since,
It's a terrible building design.
and it was, yeah, even the contractor told our engineer that, and he said he had the rubber stamp. So, cause I know, you know why I know? Cause I was one of the contractors
Yeah.
at that point, back a long time ago.
Can it be fixed?
It cannot be fixed like it is, but it can be
Right.
fixed.
It can be
But it has to be
redesigned.
redesigned, the roof system, and do like you do on the high
High
school,
school.
and ninth grade, whatever. But we're not gonna sit there and keep tolerating what we're doing right
It's
now.
built to drain the water to the middle of the building.
If we'd actually, you know,
It's the
we'd,
roof and the
we did.
drainage.
Yeah.
yeah, a long time ago, we'd already paid for this.
Mm-hmm.
How many times we've been paying for repairs? And now the roof panels have been repaired so many times, and they peel it off the stuff that they repair with, which is eating away at the roof panel. So the roof panels are deteriorating. So it's just, the Band-Aids is done.
It's getting worse, yes.
So we've already, got Scott St. John starting the preliminary stuff. So, yeah, it's gonna be a big lick, but it's gonna stop all this bleeding afterwards. And it's not just the roof, the drainage system around the building is a problem too, so that has to be addressed with
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Okay?
3, 5, and 7%.
okay.
And do that with, can you do that with Rennie too?
An ambulance?
Mhm.
Okay.
Everybody that didn't propose.
Yeah, I'll put
We'll
everybody.
put all of them in that list.
Yeah.
Right, that'd be all, and that way that'd be,
Yes.
we got options that, when we do that.
To go with.
Even part-time employees, or just?
Well, that might be, well,
It's up to you. I don't know. It's
here's what I feel about that.
hard to tell with part because.
It's hard to tell part-time, because you got library that's got summer help. And I consider that just summer
What's
part-time.
kids coming up?
But then you got regular part-time employees that are year-round. So you got really two different categories there. And I know we been wanting to get them to $15, but I would wanna take a big swing. I don't wanna do it all at once. I'd like to do it in steps to get it to there, like maybe this year. What are they making now, 14? Some of them?
$12.50.
Yeah,
$12.50.
some of them still make
Well, I'd
it.
like to maybe add $1, $1.50 to, or whatever, and just maybe do it in two budgets and have it at 15.
2 budget cycles.
2 budget cycles and have it at 15.
$1.25 for 2 budget cycles and get them to 50.
How many part-time employees are in that category?
That's what you
That's what
can't,
we
you
don't know.
can't
We don't know.
tell because.
We don't know.
They don't-
Sometimes it's seasonal and sometimes it's steady and so
Yeah,
between the two.
Yeah, and they'll stay on the payroll and they may not have worked in 2 years.
Right.
So
Well, I was just talking about the ones that are steady. I mean, can you separate?
usually, okay, there's like, I believe 10,
That are
I think that's
steady?
correct.
yes.
Now, the whole county?
No,
No,
in the
just-
library.
For the library.
Just the
Okay.
library.
But I mean, yeah, the library
I
is
go
just,
in and if
Yeah.
they hadn't worked in 2 years, I make them, you know, I
Yeah, you have
terminate
voluntary.
them because it messes with your,
Yeah.
what you're trying to do. Plus
Yeah.
the EMS, same way.
right,
You know, they might have 40 part-time,
right.
but, you know, they don't work a couple of years and then, you know, it's just hard.
That's true. I may still be on there from years ago. who knows?
But then the EMA has one
Large gun records.
that's there all the time, but he's part-time?
Well, I'm not gonna get into them. I don't know what they do.
Yeah,
I
But-
heard they had one now,
right, and I think
and I've
that's.
got 2 in the budget, so I'm not sure.
Well, it
I
just-
heard one had quit.
Right, just here lately, so that
Yes.
takes that out, and I
Yes.
don't think they have the intention of replacing that.
So you've got that budget high. So,
Right.
yeah, I didn't wanna open that can of worms.
Yeah, that's my intention.
But that's what I heard.
That would be my suggestion on the part-time. What do we do there? No, I mean, but I'd like to
Yeah,
stair
see
step
where
it
it's
up
at.
instead of just
I know.
fund it all at
Yeah.
once.
That would be
On all,
easier.
on the whole county, across the county, I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
But do all of our part-time get the same total pay? Does part-time in the sheriff's office make kind of the same money as part-time in the library?
They don't have hardly any.
I don't know. We'll have to check it.
I'm just
But
saying,
our-
is there some areas where
Yeah.
part-time payers get more pay than the others?
Well, like, yeah, the sheriff, if the few they have are certified deputies.
Yeah, so
Right.
you can't just say we're trying to get all the part-time to a
Okay.
certain pay.
No,
You
but
have
we're
to-
trying to get
Right.
most of them that are not,
Yeah,
that are
yeah,
under
no,
the
I
15.
agree with that.
Up to
I
that
agree with
point
that.
now. You know, if they're making more than that, that's good. I mean, yeah.
And
We'll
we-
decide what to do.
Yeah.
Do I?
We'll have to decide what to do with them
Yeah,
too. Do
they'll
you
have
wanna
to
give
be-
them a percent, or do you want?
That's true. I mean, yeah.
You just wanna raise them
Yeah.
I'd say they don't get nothing. We need to give them something. I
a
mean,
dollar and a half or whatever you said.
Well,
Closer to where you want.
that's something we can discuss about when we come time.
But if it's
we
like
come
a
time to
certified
discuss it.
deputy and they're making
Oh,
a
yeah.
higher
Yeah.
pay.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
You
different.
might
exactly.
give them just a percent.
Yes.
Right.
Right,
So,
right.
Right.
Stick with flat fee.
And I don't know if we can do it on this, not in this budget cycle or not, but I'd like to see somewhere down the line, us put together a committee and discuss the insurance end of it. You know, because I know you did last budget cycle, you proposed $50 for, was it that or the year before?
We did 100
100?
a month,
Yeah, I
so-
think that come from you.
1,200, for each,
Yeah, I'd like to get
For their
it,
each
insurance.
employee for each year.
Through their insurance. Okay.
I'd like to put a committee together and study that and try to figure out some way to cut that cost on the
Well,
family
I've
coverage.
got to caution you about, you gotta have people that understand insurance, because the
Well,
state
when I said
insurance we
committee, I
have,
I meant people that,
I just get real nervous, because
yeah, well, I mean
What
people
we're
that
in now is
understand it.
good
I mean,
insurance,
I don't totally understand it, so I'd have to
we
be
don't
some,
pay enough
Right.
for the
Right.
premium.
right.
And we've looked at it, and I'm just saying, there's so many different things in there, but well, let's just bid it out, but you gotta be careful with
Yeah,
that.
then you can,
Well, I wasn't talking about changing insurances.
He was talking about
I was talking
how
about.
I know,
much
but
should
I
the
just wanna
county
make sure, because
contribute to-
people hear things different, and,
Yeah.
Right.
how much
I was just
do you
trying to put a
contribute?
committee together to
Yeah.
see how
Yes.
we can help them with the cost of their family
Yeah.
coverage.
yeah, because it is expensive
Oh, yeah.
on the,
Right.
That's a good idea, too.
like the
Right.
corrections officers that have families,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I mean.
Okay. Thought I'm gonna run my mouth over that.
You could.
No, you're fine, I just wanna make
Well,
sure,
I
because
know
like I
that.
said, it'll be all the way around the world, and it'll come back not even what you said.
Oh, yeah, I know. I understand. I sure
And
do.
the,
Okay, 3, 5, and 7. Anybody else, anything else?
and you,
I've got,
That's a good start.
how many, there's 9 commissioners here, how many of you guys actually, finished your training, and when do they collect the $600 stipend?
I have not finished mine.
Collect.
You talking about for this year?
Complete.
For this
Have you
year.
collected it this, have you,
I'm
what
gonna
were
do
you
it
gonna do?
I was going to do it in November, because that's when I did it last year.
She does it in November after we get our,
So everybody currently in this budget cycle have received $600?
Yes.
That completed it?
last year.
From
That
last
was,
year.
that was a finding with the comptroller's office, is our lack of,
I wait till
training.
they send us that, the comptroller's office through CTAS sends us who got it, who
trained and who
didn't,
wasn't.
and it usually comes out sometime in October. And I thought, that's the way I thought was easier to do, you can kinda see who got it.
And I got
who
one more
didn't.
technical question for y'all. The mayor, the county mayors are under maintenance of effort. My county mayor budget has been reduced by $100,000.
It's under maintenance of effort?
The county mayor's office
Yeah.
is, you're required to provide maintenance effort.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So so my office is now $100,000 less than last year. 45,000 of that was actually shifted to per department for purchasing, that still leaves about 55,000 that we've been able to save in the mayor's office. You may have to check with CPAS, but technically, if the mayor does not request it, I don't think you would have to. Is that the way y'all would think it
That's the
would
way
work?
I understood that
That's-
new law.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Y'all tell me what the lawyers say on that one.
That is a technical question that I don't know that we can answer.
Do what now?
I said, that's a technical question that I don't know that we can
Yeah.
answer. You may
I
have to
think
go,
that, I'm personally glad they give you the minimum amount that you asked for, so.
yeah, it's true.
If the lawyers
Yeah,
say we
we
can't.
don't wanna get sideways.
Right.
And,
If lawyers say we
it's
can't,
a
I trust it.
requirement. The
I was
mayor's
about to say,
office.
if the lawyers say we have to give it to you, I trust you'll spend it in some intelligent way.
We'll put purchasing on
We
you.
have a big Christmas party. No,
You'll be the purchasing agent.
You can ask that CTAS lawyer, he's gonna be there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll
We're
figure it
gonna,
out. I'm,
remind everybody.
my
that-
opinion is if the mayor doesn't ask for it,
Yeah.
you don't have to give it. That would be my opinion, but we wanna ask that technical question.
Was that just to protect mayors from retribution against
Yes,
them?
and
Yeah.
new mayors coming in. from
Oh,
the
okay.
old
Yeah, that
regime.
makes sense. So in that case, that interpretation makes sense to me.
Okay, we're
We'll have
scheduled
the
for
next meeting.
we're scheduled for May the
I
22nd.
won't be here.
You won't be here.
That's Thursday before
When is it?
Memorial holiday.
22nd?
I won't
Okay.
be here. I mean,
Okay.
y'all welcome me. Just saying,
We gotta have you.
I won't be here.
Would you?
How long you gonna be out? So when are
Holiday
you going?
weekend.
I have something personal to take
All that
care
all
of.
week?
Thursday, no,
for
Thursday and
business.
Friday.
Oh, just those days?
Yeah.
Well, what's wrong
We
with,
could move it to the 27th,
or 27th?
or, hang on a minute,
Let me look at the calendar.
Blind.
June,
of May.
May,
Today's the 8th.
I thought that, we had discussed the 22nd.
We did, but
She
maybe
can't
that's not.
come.
But
Yeah,
she's
she
not gonna
can't
be here. I got you, I got you.
Yeah.
I got,
Just
I
the
got a plan
Thursday,
for
Friday.
27th.
Okay.
What about back it up to
But
the
it's at home.
21st?
Goodness.
Yeah, we used to do that every once in a
Yeah,
while.
What's
so
wrong with the
Y'all's meeting
21st?
committee's run a little longer.
21st on
Yeah.
Wednesday, right?
there's,
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I can get out of it.
What day of the week is that?
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
21,
I can meet for a little
That day
while.
with you?
21 May?
Yeah, but don't
Oh,
worry about me.
I can't.
My
I got a
schedule's
hair
crazy,
appointment.
so
Okay.
I generally work
On the
on school on
21st?
Wednesday, so it's awful hard for me to get back by 5. but-
3:30, latest I could get.
How
out.
about the 26th?
That's Memorial Day.
26th then?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is too,
Yeah,
I'm
it
sorry.
is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it
my
is.
birthday.
It is.
The 19th or
In
20th.
advance.
The 19th or
Probably
20th?
seen the 20th.
And I won't. I'll be
The
there.
19th or
19th is probably
20th?
at policy and
I got policy
procedures.
and procedure on 19th,
What?
20
tell
would be
me-
good.
5.
20's good.
Tell me that.
Yeah,
How-
Thursday.
May the 20th?
May 20th,
What, can I-
Tuesday.
I can move, I can move it.
Wednesday, Thursday,
Hey, you
Friday,
talking-
Saturday,
We-
You're gonna be here anyway.
Monday,
we're
Tuesday.
talking-
That
we
would
can
be
move policy
Tuesday,
and
May the
procedure.
20th. Everybody?
Hey.
Tuesday, May 20th?
You want to do
Yep.
that?
I'm
Okay,
pretty
wait.
good at that.
That works for
Then
me.
if they said
I
May
think it works
20th
for
was
me.
good.
I never know anymore.
Yeah, there's nothing going on May the 20th.
All right, May the 20th, 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Gotcha.
That give you enough time to do that? 3, 5, and 7? Okay.
Okay, so that-
All I heard is meeting adjourned. He said that.
Hey,
All
yeah,
right.
is everybody good?
Anybody questions, comments, or anything?
Good job.
What time?
Good job.
5.
Yeah, 5 o'clock, take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion adjourned.
All those in
Second.
favor, by aye.
By leaving.
Make sure you turn your microphones off.
Reminder, everybody, CTAS training next Wednesday.